All right. So, now we've kind of moved in, had a little introduction a little bit. So let's talk a little bit about how this course is going to work and what you can expect from me as a professor, as well as, things that you'll be learning throughout the course. So first thing is that, so in this course, right, as we go through and talk about ways that you'll be evaluated, the first thing that you should know is that this is going to be a writing course, right? There's no way that you can get away from it. And it's going to follow you around no matter what, right? So know that that is going to happen. And the way that we're going to structure the assignments for this course is that they will be basically it's sort of like a scaffolding kind of thing. So on 1 week, right, we'll cover one set of material, another, and you'll be asked to write to that effect, right? So let's say, for example, we talk about ways to evaluate theory. That your first assignment will be to write that part. And then if we start talking about correlates of crime, then you'll have a writing assignment where you'll be asked to write about the correlates of crime. Why do we need to explain, right? Next part we'll be talking about a theory and then ask you to cover a theory, right? The point of this assignment, right, is not necessarily, while it seems like it's a lot of writing, having the scaffold in this way allows me to give you feedback ahead of time for your particular paper before you get overly committed. I know from personal experience and having taught this course several times, students always wait until the last week to write their paper, and it shows, right? It becomes really frustrating to me, as a grader, because I'll look through and it's clear that this person wrote this at the last minute. If I wanted to look at, the document data, it's say started 2 days before the assignment's due, and that really leads to a lot of poor outcomes, right? So we're going to scaffold the writing assignment so I can give feedback, so you have time to opportunity to resubmit, seek feedback maybe from some of your peers. We'll kind of explore some options with that, but we'll see how it goes, right? Main goal of the paper, right, is to show do you have the capability to learn some of the concepts applied in class, use them, and apply them in a real world setting, and talk about practical implications, right? So it's really more about demonstrating critical thinking skills, right? So as you may know, this is a gateway course into the main major, so this is a required class. You cannot get away from it, but why would you, right? Because then we'd have less time with each other, right? And who wants that? So just know that's going to happen. Another component of this course is that because we're in an online setting, sometimes this is more difficult. We're really going to take advantage of online discussion board opportunities. Specifically, we'll be using a program called PackBack. The directions for how to access that are in the syllabus. But basically, it takes $25 to get in to the course. But the goal of it is to really engage everyone in the discussion board in a meaningful way. So the point of this, right, is that you'll see student responses. And what I want you guys to do is that whether it's based off of the videos that you see for our class, or whether it's based off of responses you see from your peers, whatever that's about, it's about the ability for you to look at a response that someone has, ask a question for the meaning, and then engage with other people, right? This is helpful because one, it tells me that you are curious about the material, that you're engaging with the other peers, and hopefully activate some sort of thinking, right? The goal of this is to be an active learning prospect to help you start thinking about your papers more and more, rather than just sort of existing and not engaging with people in an online environment and sort of avoiding it, right? So the way this is going to work is that more often than not, people will still wait until the last minute to do this kind of stuff. So there are basically two parts to this. Part one is that in any given week that our discussion is due on PackBack, that will be due on the Wednesday of every week, period. Everyone has to post one question that's inspired either by a video that I posted or by the readings that they saw, maybe something on the news that's related, right, or something like that, that is related to the course material. So that's the first part. The second part, to get full credit for the week, is that you have to respond to 2 people in the classroom, so all the other discussion posts there. And what will end up happening is that they'll have to be due by this Saturday of a given week, right? That way, Sunday you have off, you can do whatever you want, you're not stressed about it. So the Wednesday questions must be posted, and on the Saturday, then you have to respond to your peers. So that's the way that's going to work, and it's pretty simple. And what we'll end up doing is that since this class is your guys' own, and it may be kind of interesting, I'll kind of go through each week, and after a week's discussion, maybe like on the Monday or on the Sunday or whatever, I'll post a video talking about some of the questions that I thought were really interesting, right? This is not to say that not everyone asks questions, right? But these are ones that caught my eye, generate a lot of discussion, and something that we can explore more, right? So in this way, the class is dynamic, and it's really centered around the topics that you guys bring up that you're interested in, and it's really great. The other part that you'll be evaluating on is that there's going to be a midterm, which should not be a surprise, and of course, reading assessment tests. Keep in mind, right, the reading assessment tests are generated based off of reading material. They're not based off of lecture videos, right? So when you're reading through and you see a comment, and you're like, "There's nothing from the lecture videos in these." That's right, because it's based off of after you're reading. The videos for the course are designed to go into the material deeper, to explain things in a way that maybe you didn't know or you didn't understand at the time before, to look at extensions and things like that. So it's supposed to give you material that you may not have found out on your own. So that's kind of the goal for it, and hopefully you guys will find that interesting. I find it great. So just keep in mind that when we get these videos, sometimes they're short, sometimes they're longer, sometimes there's several of them, but they're not going to be like hour-long diatribes, right? The goal of it is simply to supplement the material that's already existed, and the length of it will change depending on what the topic is, right? So I would, again, recommend that you watch all the videos to help understand your content, how to write your paper, things like that, because they're really useful and great for that. But yeah, those are the main ways that will be evaluated in this course. And so I'll end the video here, and then we can go on and talk about other things later. So I'll see you guys in the next video.